Hello guys, and once again I have been up late writing scripts on aged parchment with a quill made from a dodo feather, and today's topic is the squad leader problem. Now I'm sure some people watching will assume that I'm going to talk about the level 3 players taking squad leader, and you'd be right, but I'm also going to talk about the experienced squad leaders and the straight up power trip incels. Now bear in mind, while everything I'm saying is 100% factual, I'm also being mean to be funny, to cover up my own insecurity. So sit down and get your angry comments ready, and let's dive on in. So, most Hell Let Loose players with some experience of the game will be able to discern what type of squad leader they have, if any. The rare and well-balanced squad leader who knows his role well, knows how to keep his squad on track, and still have a little bit of fun along the way. This is S tier squad leader, and no matter their rank, commend these beautiful bastards. However, more than likely, you will actually get one of these three types. The fresh off the Steam page greenhorn who doesn't understand the game and just assumed it was some kind of realistic Battlefield game. The squad leader who has surprisingly high rank and squad leader level, yet can't actually think for themselves and berates anyone who tries to help them, coupled with making constant poor choices. Or the try-hard man-child who I can only assume gets shouted at by his supervisor at work all day and is now taking it out on my beloved Hell Let Loose players. First, let's tackle the level 3 squad leaders. Now these poor bastards get a lot of hate, and sometimes rightly so. However, I also feel bad for them, as they probably had no idea the level of responsibility they were taking on, nor the migraine that they would be gifted by the command chat. In many cases, I bet they haven't even checked their VoIP options, and are probably screaming into a dead microphone, wondering how the hell do I put an OP down, and then pulling their hair out because no one's responding other than typing noob squad leader in the chat. And eventually they'll throw in the towel out of frustration, and to compound the issue, the people that were berating them originally won't even pick up the squad leader mantle. Or they will, but you'll get this guy. The seemingly experienced squad leader who in fact only got his rank through the sheer amount of time he's put into the role, none of it good. A few badly placed OPs here, a soon to be deleted garrison there, it all adds up in the end. Perhaps we need some kind of rating system for players. No, that is a divisive topic for another video. So the main issue with these guys isn't that they're not good squad leaders, well they're not, but it's also their inability to listen to advice or suggestions. They will take any advice as a serious question of their own leadership and will never take it on board, either through pride or the psychological phenomenon where people hearing alternate information that conflicts with what they believe to be right will not be able to accept it, no matter what proof or logical explanation you've presented to them. This then results in bad decisions being made in-game, or worse, no decisions at all. Personally, I think the mark of a good leader is the ability to listen to others and take on those suggestions and admit one's mistakes and failings. Thankfully, I have never had to do this. I've had squad leaders who will refuse to put down a garrison in a pretty standard position just because the commander has not said that that's where you need to put it. Sometimes the commander doesn't know what they're talking about either. So you need to think on your feet, think for yourself. As much as the commander is responsible for building garrisons as much as they can, squad leaders are also responsible for doing this. And if you find yourself in the perfect position, you have someone with supplies ready to put them down, it doesn't take too much brain power to realise that maybe you should put a garrison down. Now the last and my personal most hated type of bad squad leader are the power trip squad leaders. Constantly acting like they're this dude.
Do not ever talk when I'm talking, you got that?
And on top of all of that, they will not actually be paying any attention to the flow of the game, and as such, most of the time will be about 3 moves behind the enemy and 4 behind their own competent squad leaders. Now this in itself is bad, but on top of all of that, they will berate any squad member for even asking for an OP. And don't you dare ask him to repeat his orders via the cup and string he's attached to his USB port. Oh no sir. They won't let anyone have any fun, and they won't accept any good-natured roleplay. Just sweating hard on a nice casual game with randoms who have probably been working all day and just want to pretend to be in one of the most violent and psychologically damaging conflicts known to man. Now I'm not saying every game should be filled with constant over-the-top medic screams and pretending that you're from Alabama, but instantly shitting on someone for just having a little chat with someone in the squad chat because there's absolutely nothing to do while you're defending a point is ridiculous. Some of the best squad leaders I've ever experienced are usually the ones that have that perfect balance. I mentioned them earlier at the beginning. They know what they're doing, they keep the squad on point, but they don't have a problem with people having a laugh and getting into the spirit of the game. Because it is, as I've always said, a game at the end of the day. If you start sucking the fun out of it, it might as well be at bloody work. So before I move on to my miracle fixes for all these problem squad leaders, if you've enjoyed the video so far, please leave a like as it's a great way to support me, and subscribe for more Hell Let Loose content. And also join the Discord if you like discussing Hell Let Loose in greater depth and detail, and if you just like memes about games, because we got lots of them. Some of them are pretty good. So anyway, how to fix the squad leader problem. So let's first tackle the low level squad leaders. The quickest way to fix any of the issues that they are having is to go onto YouTube and type in Hell Let Loose Squad Leader Guide. There are quite a few on there, but probably one of the best is Soul Sniper's guides on squad leading, and on top of that, maybe check out his Commander guide, because even if you're not going to play Commander, knowing what responsibilities the Commander has and all the things he has to do might make your decision making process that little bit more tighter and succinct, because you can visualize what he's having to do while also helping you inform your own decisions on where to place garrisons, how to help him out, and the best way to keep your squad in line. I will link his channel down below, but more than likely you're already subscribed. Another fix, which is probably never going to happen, but some kind of training that could be provided at the beginning of a game. I realise a lot of people have questioned the actual ability to put a training round into Hell Let Loose. Someone mentioned something about the code of the game wouldn't actually allow it. However, we get a lot of text boxes come up when you start a game that tell you about server rules and stuff like that. Perhaps more robust hints could be implemented into the game, maybe some that actually disable certain features of squad leader until you've performed those tasks. For instance, you have to put down an OP, you have to do various things that only a squad leader can do, and once you've done that, it unlocks the squad properly and people can join it. That way people know that you've actually done it and know how to use that little watch. However, another potential fix, which some people think is a bit too strict and controversial perhaps, is just limiting who can become squad leader. If you are under a certain rank, then you cannot select squad leader, because you just would not know enough about the game at level 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, maybe even 40. You probably still don't know enough to become a squad leader, definitely not a commander. So that could fix some of the issues, but it also might mean that there's just lots of people waiting for someone else to build a squad, which is already happening. So we shall see if anything like that gets implemented down the line with the new developers. Now, unfortunately, the fixes for the last two types of squad leader I mentioned isn't an easy fix, as aside from their bad squad leading abilities, which can be fixed by the YouTube how-to guides that I mentioned for the level 3s, a lot of their problems come from themselves. It's their own personality, that's the way they are hardwired, so they will find it very hard to change the way that they think, the way they process information, and the way that they deal with other people. Now, as silly as it might sound, if you watch the Band of Brothers series, which I'm sure everyone has, looking at the different leadership styles that are presented there by the various commanders and squad leaders, and even some of the soldiers that don't have any official responsibility in terms of who they are in command of, will still display interesting leadership qualities. You can also find people have analysed their leadership abilities and their personalities to showcase why they've become effective leaders. So the only thing I can think of is maybe look at videos on how to be an effective team leader, or just watch Band of Brothers and figure out why Dick Winters and Lieutenant Lipton are such charismatic leaders and try and embody some of that next time you play. Or just don't play squad leader if you're just going to rat on people and shit on them all the time for having fun in a game. Maybe it's not the role for you. Take MG, that way you're constantly shitting on people. It's great fun. Anyway, that's me analysing the squad leader problem in Hell Let Loose. If you want to see more videos like this, analysis or discussion videos, or even just weird and epic gameplay, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to chat with me and fellow like-minded players about Hell Let Loose and share some memes, join the Discord. The link is in the comments. So I'll see you in the next one. Bluffin, signing off.